And hello and welcome back to Stream City Radio, streamcity.org, Stream City Sports, as we look at the SEC's top 10 performances in non-conference games in 2025. And this does not count FCS games. This is regular season. We're not looking at bowl games in this particular situation. So let's dive in there and take a look at what we got for the SEC. And our next one up after this will be the Big Ten. This will drop on YouTube tomorrow at 5 o'clock, and we'll try and drop the Big Ten one Wednesday at 5 o'clock. The top of the top performances of the Big Ten, as we had the bottom performance of the Big Ten earlier today. So let's go in here and look at what we have for the SEC, and we're going to start out with Vanderbilt at Virginia Tech. And this is one of those, we did a tier system for comparing the conferences. So just to give you a little bit of an idea on that one, coming into this, Vanderbilt, a tier 4 team, Virginia Tech, a tier 7 team in the ACC. And it was a 44-20 win for Vanderbilt, 490 yards of offense to 248. Vandy had 4 possessions and 2 turnovers in the first half. So half their possessions, they had turnovers. They're down 20-10 at halftime. And Virginia Tech had 21 yards of offense in the second half. So once Vandy got it rolling, they completely shut Virginia Tech down. They scored on 5 consecutive TDs on 6 possessions in the second half and ended the game with the ball in hand. So once they got it rolling, once they got the turnovers tucked away, Virginia Tech had 0 answers for the Commodores. And so there's your number 10 performance for the SEC outside of conference play. It could have been higher, but that's where we got it. Mississippi Tulane comes in at number 9. Once again, this is a tier 1 versus tier 5 matchup. 45-10 the final in this one. Mississippi coming away with the victory. 548 yards of total offense for the Rebels. 282 for Tulane. And keep in mind, this was a playoff team at the end of the day. Ole Miss was up 23-3 at the half. So kind of just put it a little bit neutral and just coasted to a victory in this one. Tulane's TD came with less than 5 minutes remaining in the ballgame. So played a lot of players, did the Rebels, and handled business against Tulane. Number 8, and this one may be a little bit of a surprise because Mississippi State goes down to Southern Miss and gets a big win. And here's the reality. This is an even matchup. They're both tier 7 football teams coming into this thing. Mississippi State ends up basically doubling up Southern Miss. And honestly, it's a huge game for Mississippi State because not a lot of road wins in recent years for the Bulldogs. But this is a huge game for Southern Miss as Mississippi State's coming in. The yardage was not, it favored Mississippi State, but here's the thing. Southern Miss, 141 of their 301 yards came in their last 2 drives when they were down by 24 points. So a lot of empty calories there for the Golden Eagles. And that one is Mississippi State goes down and gets a big win that opening week in Hattiesburg. Number 7, the Auburn Tigers. This time against Ball State. And this is a 7 versus 11 tier matchup, 42-3 win. This ballgame thoroughly dominated by Auburn. Ball State had 41 yards in the first half of offense. It was 21-0 at half. They had 4 drives that ended in negative yardage. QBR of 7.3 for the Ball State Cardinals. They had -3 yards rushing and a total of 68 yards of offense while they gave up 495. So a thorough butt whooping that the Tigers laid out there. And then they come back, and we're going to look at them as number 6 as well, as that opening weekend win, a huge win against Baylor on the road, a game I was privileged to be there for. And this was a situation of 38-24 in the ball game. Auburn rushed for 307 yards. And that really, to me, is why Auburn finds themselves, one of the reasons this is ranked in there. One, it's a huge victory, road victory. But when you put 307 yards up on somebody on the ground, you're physically dominating them. And they only gave up 64 yards on the ground to the Baylor Bears. And Baylor was 5 of 15 on third downs. They went for several fourth downs in that one, but Baylor just had no answers for the Auburn running game in that one and just physically dominate them. Number 5, Alabama versus Louisiana Monroe, a game that the biggest point spread of any of the games in the SEC played this year, 73-0. But here's the thing. It's a 2 versus 8 matchup. You're supposed to blow these guys out. You did exactly what you're supposed to do, but you did it in grand fashion. It was 42-0 at halftime. The first downs were 29-9 in favor of Alabama. So at no point did ULM have any shot in this ball game. And the Crimson Tide rolled. And it was bad timing. Let's face it. They'd lost to Florida State the week prior. This was not the time to show up in Tuscaloosa. And, hey, give the Crimson Tide credit. They 100% responded in this ball game. Next up, number 4, Oklahoma against Kent State. Yes, a major mismatch. A 3 versus 10 matchup. But Oklahoma rolled in this thing. Third down efficiency. Kent State was 2 of 13 on third downs. Yardage 355 to 135 in favor of Oklahoma. And, it was just, and they ran for 185 yards and gave up 17. So what are you going to do? That was a complete dismantling. I guess you could have flip-flopped those 2 games. But at any rate, we're going to put Oklahoma at number 4. Number 5 is Missouri playing Louisiana. This is another mismatch, a 4 versus 8 game. And in the final one, this was 52-10. Mizzou never threatened, 38-10. Halftime score, 427 yards rushing for the Tigers. And you're going to find when I'm doing these, if you ran for a bunch of yards, you were going to be ranked pretty high, because that, to me, is a sign of physical dominance in the ball game. They also had almost 42 minutes of possession in this ball game. So they kind of like a python, just wrung the life out of Louisiana in this one, and rolled on to an easy victory. Number 1 and 2, I kind of went back and forth on this one. Both in-state games. I'm going to give number 2 to Arkansas and Arkansas State. This was a 8 versus 8, so an even matchup in this ball game. And total yards for Arkansas, 630 to 285. Only had 6 third downs in the entire ball game, converted 5 of those. A bunch of short, big play drives for the Hogs in this one, as they just put it on their in-state rivals. Well, not really rivals, but their the other in-state team. And it's a 35-14 halftime score in this thing. So that could have been number 1. But what I went with for number 1, and the funny part here is followed up by a terrible outing against Clemson, but it is South Carolina against Coastal Carolina. And this is a 51-7 victory for the Gamecocks against the Beach Chickens in this one. An 8 versus 9 matchup, so a fairly even matchup in reality. 579 yards of total offense for the Gamecocks to 220 for Coastal Carolina. It's 37-0 at halftime. The only score that Coastal Carolina got was a blocked field goal in the fourth quarter that they returned for a touchdown, 20 yards for a touchdown, or about 20 yards for a touchdown. And that was it. Other than that, South Carolina's defense was spotless on the afternoon. Turnovers were even. It was just another dominant performance by an SEC squad against a team from the Sun Belt. And there is your top 10 non-conference performances for SEC squads in 2025.